All right. Let's get the mic gain back up here. Hey, everybody. Feels good to be back in this giant mess of a room. So let's see. See who's here today. Yeah, it feels really good to be back. It's been a month since I streamed, and a month before that since I streamed. So let's see. Craig, Carl. Carl, my case is Carl. Okay. Let's see. Mr. Hopkins. Hey, Anna. Good. Andy. Lamont. Let's see. Thanks, guys, for showing up. Let's see. Who else is in here today? All the usual suspects. Wookie. Let's see. Keep on going through the list. Ooh, you guys were talking it up. Davi. Hey there, man. I caught your stream the other day. It was great. Let's see. Discipline Commotion. Hey. Let's see. Hey, Wabbit. How's it going, man? I like your video from earlier today. It was good. Let's see. Who else? Symptoms of Reality. How's it going? Is SOR on Facebook? Yeah, it would be Marilyn. So, hey, Marilyn. Thanks for showing up. So for those of you who don't know, Symptoms of Reality has been doing a stream, trying to stream every day for 100 days, and they're on day like 96 now, 97. I think Thursday's day 100. And then they're going to, on that day or the day after, they're going to try and do a 24-hour straight live stream. And so they're looking for people to help them with the gap where they sleep. So if you can record a video of you jamming or doing a stream, contact them through their email on Symptoms of Reality, the channel on YouTube. Go to the About. There's a little button that says show me their email address, right? Because it doesn't let it get scraped. And then send them a note, right? And if you don't suck, and I'm pretty sure Marilyn and Lamont are the judges of whether you suck or not. So don't blame me. They might accept a submission for their 24-hour stream. That would help them too. So consider that. But hey, Garen, who else is here? Eric S. Hey, Rich. All right. Who else? Dr. Cynthia, sir. And we're going to do the roll call like Romper Room here. Go through them all. Whoop. And YouTube's been weird. The audio was good. I was looking at a bunch of things yesterday and today, a bunch of live streams, and the audio was clear and steady, but the video was like choppy. So let me know if that's the case. I think it should be okay. So we're on a hard line now. No more Wi-Fi. One of the things we did in rearranging the studio is blow a hole through the wall in the guest room's closet, route a really ugly Ethernet cable along the floor because I'm just not physically able at this point to go into the attic and like it's a crawl space and drop a line through the wall. So I ran it around the edge of the floor, and I screwed it in so it was nice and neat. But my wife was like, "That's kind of ugly." And I'm like, "It's temporary, one day." But then plugged a hole, drilled a hole through the wall from the closet in there to the closet in here, ran a cable through, and now we've got hardline. So the stream throughput should be fine. And if it's not, it's YouTube's fault. So, because Lord knows I never make any mistakes. Yeah. So let's see what's going on. Who else is here? Finish the roll call. Okay, I think that's everyone. And Thomas Yawn. Hey, man. Good to see you. Okay, so we have a bunch of things to do today. I have a bunch of photos to show and all sorts of things to talk about. We'll make some music and things like that. We'll get some of this noise playing in the background, actually. We'll get this one. Not that. This, though. Let me know if that's too loud. One thing I haven't figured out how to yet is I don't know if you can see, we're DAW-less, or rather we're not running through Ableton. And as a result, my nice Ableton rig with all the ducking for the mic is out the window. So I'm riding the mic gain here. Let me know if it's too loud or not loud enough, or if this is the system behind it's too loud or not loud enough. But let's see. So far, so good. Thanks, Jeff. Yeah, wired network really is the only solution. It's convenient. My Wi-Fi is so weird in this house. The house we live in is this ranch built in the 1950s, and a whole bunch of the structures, some like intermittently, some of the studs in the walls are steel. They're steel I-beams, like these little ones, and every door frame is steel. It's crazy, but I don't know if that is harder on the Wi-Fi, but the Wi-Fi in this house is real sketch. So anyway, let's see. Who else is floating in? Hey, Dan Kupka, my friend from Salem. Hey, Dan. How's it going, man? You still play at the Gulu Cafe? I hope I'm saying that right. Gullah Gullah Cafe. My wife was just in Salem with some visitors. We had house guests over the weekend, and they wanted to see Salem in, October. You know how that is, right? And they were out there, and I said, "Hey, if you see the Gullah Gullah Cafe and there's a guy Dan playing there, you should go say hi." But I don't think they went there, so they're there during the day. Will English, hey there. So if anybody has questions, please, I'm going to do the PSN thing. Stick a giant capital Q in the front of your question, or tag me explicitly, because I'll miss your questions, and I do like to answer questions, right? Thanks, Andy. The setup is pretty good. So I've got everything's changed, and we'll talk about that a little bit. Let's see, anything else question-wise? Nope, there's a hello section. Tracker Jack, hey man, welcome. Thanks for showing up. If I missed anybody, Tracker Jack, Will English, Casual Noises, hey there. And from Antwerp, good to see you again. Dan asks a question. What have you got going on in the racks on the left? We'll talk about that in a second. Let me finish with the Way Force. And the question, how's the shoulder? So, for those of you who don't know, in less than 30 seconds, I have a pinched nerve in my neck. It's chronic. It appeared 2 years ago for the first time. I went through PT, fixed it, then promptly stopped doing my PT, stopped taking care of myself. All my muscles atrophied and everything misaligned. And about 12 weeks ago now, it got really bad. I lost the use of my left arm. It's much, much better now, and it will continue to get better. So that's what happened. So I'm feeling pretty good, actually. I'm riding high on gabapentin, so I can't drive. So I take so much gabapentin, they're like, you might just spontaneously fall asleep. So no driving for you. Anyway, so let's talk about the setup. So for those of you who followed like January, I got back into modular, but I have a collection of synths in this room. And I'm a control freak, and I like to have them all connected through Ableton. And I like the Ableton push. I like grids, right? This is not a push. That's a Launchpad Pro. But I like to have one central like cockpit, and then be able to have MIDI and audio routed to everything, and have interfaces with like oodles and oodles of inputs. And oodles is one of my favorite metrics, by the way, an oodle. And I did that for years. And just as I bought more synths, I would need more inputs. So I'd buy more inputs. And then it's like, well, I've got a few free inputs. I'll buy another synth. And boop, 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 boop. It grows and grows. And what we've done now is we're experimenting with the opposite. I got into the Hardware Jams group, the Facebook group, HWJ. And I've done 2 of those. And it's hardware, right? So it's not explicitly DAW-less. Like you can use... you can use like a push if it's controlling hardware. So they're okay with that. Although I said, okay, well, let's set up something that doesn't use Ableton. And so what's happened in the last week or so in the studio is I've broken everything up. I've taken down all of the interfaces and split them up. And I'm building little clusters, little zones. So these racks and this synth are one zone with an interface here. And it just is self-contained, and it's literally, I come in, I turn on the switch, everything powers on, and it goes. There's no booting up the laptop, there's no starting up software or anything, it's just ready to go. And that is very, very convenient, and I like that. And people have told me that over the years, and I'm like, come on, whatever, it's not that big a deal. And maybe it's not that big a deal, but I'm enjoying it. So I'm not saying it's better, I'm saying I enjoy it, okay. So let's see. What is the setup today? Casual Noises. I'll tell you about that. We'll get to that in a second. I'm going to tell you what the overall changes are, and then we'll talk about the setup. And helical coil, thank you for showing up. Hey, Joe, good to see you, man. Let's see, a few other hellos. If I miss any hellos, I apologize. So we're clustering stuff. So I've got a setup here. I'm building a setup over there. I'm building a setup over there. I'm building a setup over there. And then there's storage, which you can't see. So that's fine. So what's in this today? Just for the people who are like, what's in the setup today? So the way this setup's working is we've got a TR-8S, so we got a drum machine, right? And then we've got a few rack mount synths. We've got a Cobalt 8 here. We've got a Prophet 12 and a Nord A1, all right? And then over here's a third wave, which I'm actually probably not going to use much today because you can't see it. You can see hints of it around the edges. This room looks like a bomb went off, and what you can't see below is that I am standing on cables and on the verge of tripping at every moment. So I basically ran out of time to clean up my mess. And so I got this running. It's like, okay, will it stream? Yes, it'll stream. We'll do this, and then I got to clean. So once, ergonomics is feng shui, will it happen? But the way it works is stuck in this rack over here is an audio interface that's got 10 channels, so 5 stereo pairs. And so the pairs are 8S is a pair, Cobalt's a pair, Prophet's a pair, A1, and third wave. So they're all running into this thing. It's configured. The mixers are set, as far as gain staging, the way I like it. And that's it. The sequencing comes from a Launchpad Pro Mark III. That's this grid here. It's a 4-track sequencer. And then over here, let's do this. Let's change the camera a little bit. All right. Over here, this is a Metropolix Solo. This thing, this little gray box here. When I did January this year, I had a Metropolix, I had 2 Metropolix because I love them so much. These are my favorite sequencer now as far as Eurorack is concerned. This is a great sequencer. It is creative. It's a useful step sequencer. I highly recommend it for anyone. And this, in Eurorack, it's all CV based. It's got a USB on the port on the back for doing MIDI. But this is, they basically just plunk the sequencer in a little case with a little bit of electronics to stick MIDI in and out on the back. It's fantastic. So actually, let's trade this out. So this thing is playing right now. So this thing's going to the Prophet 12 right now. Okay. Both of it has 2 tracks, and both tracks are going to the Prophet 12. One is muted. I will. All right. So this is the one that's playing. All right. And let's mute that and unmute this one. All right. So there's 8 stages. I'm not going to explain it in detail how this works because I don't do gear reviews. Read the manual. This is a incredibly powerful sequencer. I used to think that step sequencers, the more steps that it had, the better it was. And that's true if you're a novice step sequencer user, okay? Once you really get into it, you start to realize, like back in the day when everyone only had 4 or 5 step sequencers, they still made amazing music. It really comes down to step sequencer math and stacking sequencers. And this thing has internally 8 sort of stages. Those stages can be divided and multiplied so you can actually have up to 64 steps across the 8 stages. And then on top of that, there's 2 tracks plus a mod lane that allows you to do math and start, like, you assign your pitches, but then you can do accumulatory sort of math on it and build interesting melodies. So if you watch, let's see if this comes through on the thing. There are 4 stages running here. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, right? But you'll notice that the 3rd stage here flashes twice because it's been subdivided once. And if you listen to the pitches, hear it rising. That's because this stage has an accumulator on it that is watching what note it is and then increasing the value of that note in a key and mode aware way. So it's not just like arbitrarily adding, note values. It's saying it's doing it by scale degrees, which is super, super musical. This is a fantastic sequencer. Highly recommend it. So the rig, if I take this back out, so this rig has 2 sequencers running. 2. It's got a Launchpad Pro, 4 tracks, and this Metropolis, and that's the thing. And so later today or early tomorrow, I'm going to record just an hour of jam and then send that over to the Symptoms of Reality gang as a submission to see if it's good enough. They'll put it in their 24-hour stream. So anyway, so that's the rig for today. All right, let me see. Any new questions? The pedals. Okay. Hold on, let me look for more questions here. How's the shoulder? Welcome back. Any other cues? Cues, no cues, no cues. Okay. What's the Dimension C? We'll talk about that, Andy. All right. So all you can hear right now is the Prophet 12. The Prophet 12, oh, let's change the camera. Sorry. So we're looking at the pedals. Boop. All right. The Prophet 12 has 4 delay taps in it, so it can do delays pretty well. And you can mangle those into being something like a reverb. But I like to use them as delays. And I also like to put a little sort of stereo movement on things. So the Prophet's running through 2 pedals. It's running through a Roland Dimension C. All right. And this is a pedal version of the old Roland rack unit, the Dimension D, I think. D as in David is what it was originally called. I'm not a historian, so I may get that wrong. But this, well, here, let's kill the reverb. Let's kill the chorus. So there's the Prophet 12 raw. There's a little delay in here. Okay. The Dimension C isn't like a chorus in the classic sense of a Roland chorus where it wants to make sort of a modulating, take the dry signal and then a copy of the dry signal and modulate that one in time, have it delayed slightly and then have the delay value change slightly and then lay them together. You get a classic chorus sound. This doesn't do classic chorus sounds. I don't know the algorithm that this uses to work, but you can hear it. So dry, wet. It's real subtle. There are no knobs on this. There are only 4 buttons, and each button is more of the effect. So I'll just go through so this is level 1, level 2, level 3. It's just a little bit more noticeable. Level 4. And you can stack them. So you can press 2, hold it down and press 4. And it gets even thicker. All right. And there's a little switch on this that you can flip back and forth, flip the algorithm between something that's very closely a replica of the rack unit and then a slightly different version that's the pedal version. Okay. But I just use it on the weakest setting to give it some space, right? So there's dry, right? It's subtle and I like it. And then I'm using this little Roland RV6 reverb, which is a nice, inexpensive stereo reverb from Roland that does all the flavors that you might like as a synthesizer person, right? I sure do want a Strymon, or, a $600, space black hole reverb pedal. But it's expensive. So I was like, all right, I need a reverb that's good enough. This is good enough. Zoom makes a really good one too, right? So this is it's nothing fancy. It's just a nice reverb pedal. But that's what the Dimension C is, Andy. So let's see. Any other comments? Yeah, chorus. Question from Trusto. When do the B flat bubbles start? That's funny. We're in A. So we're working in A today. Let's see. Did I miss any other cues? Oh my God. Craig. Let's see. Is that question from Animotion, is that the laptop stand your modular case used to sit on? Yeah, it is. So the Launchpad is sitting on one of the two laptop stands that the modular used to sit on. Oh, which is a good segue. I promise we'll get back to doing music. Hold on. Let's do this. We'll leave these ARPs running. And I'm just going to turn it down a few decibels. All right. Let's see. I've got a few things to share. Let's see. So, what's going on? So I got notice. So this is a splurge. I put in an order. I've got a matriarch. It's sitting over there. I'll show you a picture of it in a second. I've got a Moog matriarch. Love it to death. And if you saw like a month ago stream, or maybe the month before that, I was augmenting the matriarch with the modular. Okay. And the modular, my case for the modular looks like this right now. It's a box that my son and I built, many moons ago. He's 22 now. So 14 years ago, we built this. And this is, you can still see it patched slightly. This was integrated into the matriarch to make the matriarch the synth that I want it to be. You can go watch the previous video about it. But anyway, the upshot is this was sitting on a couple laptop stands behind the matriarch, wired in as a proof of concept. It's like, can I make the matriarch do what I want to do? I want a matriarch that has, in addition to the Moog oscillators, I want some cool digital oscillators in there, and I want some wave folders and things like that. So that's what's in the modular right now. But I splurged, and this guy, Eric Needham, makes a really attractive modular case, which is about the same size as my case, with nice side panels that enclose the matriarch. So I placed an order for one of these like 4 months ago, and I got a notification last week that it's going to ship tomorrow or the day after. So this is going to come in. It's really interesting. He doesn't make you replace or disassemble the matriarch. These things are like shoes that it slips over the side panels that are there existing. And then it's got this nice modular enclosure back. So that's coming. And then I'm going to take this mess, which is actually, there's the matriarch there, sort of hidden behind the vertically stacked synths. There's a shot of the other side of the room that you can't see behind the camera. It's a mess. It's a horrible mess. But there's the matriarch, and I'll take that matriarch and I'll take the stuff out of this modular, and I'm going to glue it into that. And then that will be another zone. I'm going to have a zone. So we've got this zone. If you go look at January, the zone I was sitting in January is in the other corner of the room. And that's going to be the all analog zone. I like digital synths a lot. But over there is going to be the matriarch with the extension, the Eurorack extension, the Mini Moog, the subsequent 37, the Minotaur, and a Behringer K2. Because the dichotomy is entertaining, right? I'm going to have a whole bunch of synths that are too expensive, like stupid, right? And then the Behringer K2. And that will be my monument to, it doesn't how much money you spend. Okay, you can get great synths for $179, the K2, right? Or you could pay way too much, like for the Mini Moog, right? And that's what that'll be. And then over here is going to be a zone of Korg. The Korg, the Pi Trinity is going to live over here with an Iridium, and that'll also be sequenced with the Launchpad Pro. So I'll just literally move this over there when I want to do sequencing. It'll show up in a stream. It's going to be a little while though. Yeah, so that's the state of the world. Oh, I wanted to share this too. Hey, Wabbit, if you're still in there, this is the wall. This is the wall that's to my left. And I just want to show you that my love of rabbits that I told you about is not contrived. I have rabbit artwork up on the wall because we love rabbits in my house too. So anyway, and that's not a rabbit behind me, sort of. That's Totoro, but anyway. Okay, so let me go see what you guys are saying in there. Oh, Boss DD8, Andy, cool. I got my first pedal for over 40 years, not including multi-effects. You got the Boss DD8. So I've got a DD8 sitting in the closet right over there. I bought used from Guitar Center, and when I bought it, they wouldn't let me have it. I gave them the money, and then they said, okay, this has a tag on it that says we're not allowed to sell it for another 45 days because it might have been stolen. So when the clock on whether it was stolen or not runs out in 45 days, you can come pick it up. So I've got a DD8 in there that isn't hot. So let's see. All right, anything else floating around in here? The other poster is a blueprint. It's out on the net. It's total like synth nerd bait. I was like surfing somewhere on Amazon, and because of the cookies in my system, that it was like, oh, we've got a synth nerd on our hands. Something popped up and sold me a poster that was basically a blueprint of a circuit diagram, and all of the sort of components in the diagram that have an inner volume has either the name of a genre like Berlin School or whatever. And then famous artists in that. You can find it out there. It's a cool poster. It's fun, but I've seen it in a lot of streams too. So it's like, synth nerd bait. Yeah, exactly. Hey, I sing the Body Electric. Good to see you, man. Let's see. Yeah, the Pi Trinity. So what's the Pi Trinity? So Korg, it's the Mod Wave, the Wave State, and the Op6. Those are the three Korg synths that are built on the Raspberry Pi compute module, which is a reason for some people to be really angry about it. They're like, oh my God, how dare they use low-cost hardware and then profit by selling me a synthesizer? And I'm like, they're great synths. And you can even get the software version for even cheaper. So if you really just like the synth, go buy the software version. But I bought the hardware versions, and then I bought a conversion kit to move it into the keyboard that comes with its total trash. So I bought a conversion kit to move it into an aluminum milled enclosure. Oh, actually, here. I can just pick it up. It's really dark in here. I don't know if you can see this, how well you can see this. Meh, we'll put it by the camera. So this, what is this, a wave state? Yeah, so this is a wave state. Too dark. It's a full-size wave state. So thinking from a 19-inch rack perspective, this is about 6 inches wider than a 19-inch rack. So my buddy over at Tall Dog, which is a local company here in Boston, he did a Kickstarter to make these milled enclosures. It's like heavy, like really well done. And basically made it so that you can move them, disassemble them, take the keyboard off, and put them in this enclosure. And so I've got all three of those synths. I got 3 enclosures, and they're ready to be put together, and they will become a little synth performance station. And then literally like 2 months after he started selling them and shipping them, Korg announced the rack mount versions of all 3 of them. So I guess they realized he was selling enough of the enclosures that they're like, if we made these rackable, people might buy them, because their keyboards were total shit. I think it had a happy ending. He sold out, so I'm assuming he didn't lose any money on it. But anyway. All right, let's see. Let's make a little more noise. Let me quickly scan the chat. What is this? Jeff Hopkins. Oh my God. All right, I'm not seeing any cues, so I'm just going to keep going then. I see like things flashing by like Luke has wood. I don't want to know. I don't want to know. Let's see. The blueprint poster. Okay, you found it online? Yeah, it's out there. So, Dr. DK. Nice. There you go. No, that's totally fine. So yeah, go hit YouTube up for Dr. DK. That's my friend Dan. I always say Dan Kupka, but it's Kupka. So I get the name wrong. For years, like 15 years, I've been saying his name wrong. Anyway. All right. So let's talk about this. Let's make some more music. I'm gonna go from scratch. I didn't prepare anything. I've got some other things to show you, fun stuff on the side, but let's do a little music now. So let's do this. Let's delete everything out of this. If you've never used a Launchpad Pro, hang on. 1 second. If you've never used a Launchpad Pro, they're awesome. If you've used like a Circuit Tracks, any of the circuits, they are fine. But there's something about the Launchpad. It's a little different than them, and I think it is better designed, works better. All right, that's that. That's fine. All right, so let's lay down. Let's do a classic ARP thing here. I've got my phone here so I can kind of notice if you guys say anything. Kupka. Emphasis on the first syllable. All right, cool. Potato or spuds. All right, Launchpad Pro Mark 1, and it's awesome. No MPE. This doesn't have MPE, but it does have Poly Aftertouch. But it feels good. I agree, Dan. It's a very comfortable grid, and it's a little smaller. The push is much larger. It pushes out in the hallway right now. This is pretty good. What I miss is the sequencer. So I've got it set to the bass sound. All right. Let's do this. All right. So from a note perspective, when you're playing this thing, you have three options. It can be drum mode. So if I was playing a drum machine, you get the 4x4 grid. You can put it into in key mode. So you specify what key and mode we're in. We're in A minor right now. So all the notes on the side are A's. And then everything in between is the diatonic in key notes. So you get 4 octaves. This is what I use mostly. You can put it into keyboard mode, which shows you sort of a representation of the, right, you get the chromatic keyboard, but you only get 2 octaves. And I find that limiting, but if you need to play outside the key, you can do it. So I tend to keep it in, this mode. And just stay in key. All right, so let's do this. Let's put some, we're not going to do odd times today. We'll do 4 on the 4. And let's change the tempo. We're in 88 right now. Let's leave it at 88. That's fine. Back to this. The Launchpad also has a note mode where you get the like Ableton push style keyboard where it's like a 8-string bass with 8 frets. That's what I use when I'm playing like leads and stuff. And you don't have that mode for the sequencer, which is frustrating. And there's no way to route it internally from its internal note mode to program the sequencer. So, hey, I really don't like people who like complain in videos and are like, they can fix that in a firmware. They should totally fix it. I understand why people do that, but I work in the software industry. Don't fucking tell me that I need to do something for you in firmware. It's like, I'll do what I need. I'll take your feedback, right? But don't demand it and don't expect it. Oh man, I'm going to have a rant later about the Ableton Move. I've watched way too many Move videos with people being like shitting all over it and being demanding and entitled around firmware. Blah. Anyway, so let's just make a little bass line. We'll do it sort of Berlin schooly. So this is the grid. So you could program it by playing while the red light's tracking, Cylon I style, or I can put them in by hands like classic step sequencer, hold down. So this is 16 steps and this is 16 steps. So there's 2 bars. And you could hold down one and put in a note. And when it comes back around, it'll play it. And so and you could do the reverse. So I can hold that note down and say, I want these here, 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 and here. Right. Now I want another note and I want this one. we'll do this old school. I don't often do it this way. And I've got some glide on this bass. Hang on a minute. Where's my glide? So what I'm going to do is I'm going to do the classic, like a lot of things you get what people do when they're using a step sequencer is they put a note on every thing in the grid. They don't leave any spaces. So I'm just going to fill it all up. All right, and then we'll play with the glide. That's a little too much. I'll leave it at. We won't worry about the glide. All right, so that's our bass line. And so I've got this other synth here. Actually, we'll play with this. Let me flip it over to the. To look at the Metroplex, and we'll put a counter sort of thing in with the Metroplex. Turn the bass down a little bit. I'm literally just throwing in random notes into these stages. Try and balance the... I want both instruments to be heard because they're both playing these 16th notes. And I want them to play against each other. I don't want any particular one to be a lead necessarily. I want them to sort of be even. And we can fiddle around with, there's chorus on this bass. I'm going to change it to ring mod actually. Ring mod makes things a little quieter, so I gotta bring the other one down. And we can tune the sideband of the ring mod to be an A. That would be perfect. That's about as close as I can get. And let's slow down. Let's make the pluck on the Prophet 12 a little shorter. Alright, and let's play a lead over that. So we'll flip over to note mode. Let's put a snare in here. little hat action. Let's change the camera up too. I need a switcher. So what I want, so when you hear me do a performance, the preparation of said performance is like this mostly. Ooh, is that clipping? Let me know if it's clipping. Is this what I've done here? Like this is an A part, and I'll save this, and then I'll make a B part, and then within the Launchpad and within the Metropolis, you can do a song structure sequence. And so I'll say on the Launchpad, play the A part for 4 repetitions, and I tell the the Metropolis, do the same thing, play your A part for 4 repetitions, and they stay in sync as we go. And then I say go to the B part, because all I really want to do here is, I can do this on the Metropolis, but I can't do it on Launchpad Pro. Let me show you. Let me mute. So I mute the bass. One thing you can do on the Metropolis that you can't do on the Launchpad is I can dial in not a key change, but a change in the tonal center. I can shift this entire structure that's playing forward and backwards. It's the same thing as the global transposition stuff I talked about in January, but you can tie it to a dial or to a control voltage. And so if this is playing it over and over again, all I really want to do is go to a B part, which means to change the tonal center, and I'll do that with the dial. Right, just by turning down this dial, we move it down, and I can move it up. Right, it shifts all these notes within the key, but keeps them in the key. It's super nice. And then you can just zero it out. And then it's back. Anyway, let me jam for a little bit more, then we'll look at questions. And I have something to share with you. A rare thing. I've got a box, and I'm going to open it. Whoop. Good enough. All right. All right. So for people who say that Nord synths are cold, and they haven't made a new synth in many, many years, like this synth, I think it's 14 years old now or 12 years old. And it's really simple. It's a great synth. Recommend you getting it. I think they still sell the A1, and it's a great synth. If you want something that's really easy to program, but has a really broad sound range, pick one of those up. All right. Oh, slowly switch the camera. I've been talking to the camera and it's not even looking at me. All right. So let me reach back through the mess. And I don't have lights on in this room, but I have a box, and it's from Sweetwater, and it's been opened because my wife loves Smarties. And so the Sweetwater guys, I told my rep a year or two ago, I said, thanks for the candy, but I give it to my wife, but she only likes Smarties. And now when the box arrives, the bags only contain Smarties, which I didn't know that was an option. So apparently they got enough feedback that people were like, just give me the ones I like. Is there anyone out there who really likes those Bit of Honeys? The Bit of Honey candy? It's like taffy with peanuts in it. I don't know, maybe molasses. But in deference to you, Wabbit. So, all right. What's in the box, man? We could do like 7 references here. What is in the box? So I showed you those pictures of the matriarch, and I showed you the picture of the old modular that's sitting here at my feet. All the stuff in there is going to go into the matriarch, but I have a little more room, and I was thinking maybe I could put a few more things in there. It's a box with an IntelliGel logo on it. Big box. What might it be? I'm nothing if not predictable. So they say never buy the same thing. I don't think I could do this one-handed. They say never buy the same thing. I can't do this one-handed. And I break that rule all the time because I'm just unimaginative apparently. But I'm having so much fun with this Metropolis over here. I decided to get another one to stick it in the modular. So the matriarch will, as nice as the matriarch sequencer is, and it is nice, I'm going to augment. It's probably rude to say replace. I'm going to replace it. But I'm going to augment it with a Metropolis. So that's going to fit into the matriarch. And then what else do we have down here? Oh, a few other things. 3 more boxes. What are these? This one is, I'm just going to tell you. The GX expander, the gate expander for the Metropolis, because, you know, having more gates is always better. And what is this? This is a noise source. So any of you who do modular, do you use the 1U high things? I've never used that before. And this thing coming from Eric Needham has 2 3U rows for modular and then 1U row. And the reason I got that is because one of the useful things. So here's something that sucks about the matriarch. All of the semi-modular jacks in the back are in the back, and there's no frickin' label on the front. Now, yes, if you bought it from a particular vendor like Perfect Circuit or Sweetwater, I think they gave you, they cooked up a label sticker that you could stick on there, which is, I don't know, too hacky a solution, right? I'm okay with pragmatic solutions, but that was just offensive because it came in the box that was already creased and mangled. If it came flat shipped and was nice. Anyway, they make, when you get this thing from Needham, they include a little 1U set of headers. So you plug all of the things in the back of the matriarch that you can't possibly frickin' see into that thing, and now they're all on the front panel of the modular thing. And so because of that, there's this 1U row there. And so now I've got some space to fill, and modular being what it is, hey, if you got space to fill, that means you're going to buy modules. So I got an IntelliGel noise source for that. That'll go in there. And then, what is this one? Something else. Oh, a Quadrat. So a 10-uverter. 1U. Can never have too many attenuverters, right? Attenuverters and VCAs. It's a little row of 4 knobs and 8 jacks. And it's an attenuverter. All right, let me put this away. So that was the exciting thing. I never do unboxing videos. I did one. I unboxed the Nord when I got it. So I think one of the very first videos on the Synth Seeker channel, maybe the first video, is me unboxing the Nord A1R. So that makes 2, I think, 2 unboxing videos that I've done now. So, all right, let's look at the chat. Let's go back to, we'll go back to this. not you. Oh, I cleared you out. Hold on. Here, let's add something. Let's put some random... nope. That's the wrong synth. Sorry. Wrong channel. That's the one I want. There, we got a little buchla weirdness going on in the background. So, all right, chat-wise, what do we got here? I need whatever camera setup that Garen has. Yeah, I think Garen's camera setup costs like $5,000 though in cameras. I could be wrong. All right, I saw a few cues fly by. Let's see. Where'd that go? The Relic is getting closer to shipping. The Relic looks cool. It's actually intimidating. That grid has too many buttons on it, that's saying a lot coming from me, right? Let's see. Culture of Ghosts. Hey, for people who snuck in, I didn't notice. Hi there. Let's see. I'm looking for things that begin with Q, so it's a question I can answer. One ring mod to rule them all. Yep. Let's see. G sharp sharp. Nice, Jeff. And I thought I saw Q fly by. Enzo, hey man, welcome aboard. Let's see. I need whatever camera ships with that Garen has. Yeah, I'll get around to it. Yeah, Metropolis with an X. The Metropolis is the precursor, and it's also excellent. I think Andy has at least one. Just X. They stick an X on things when they evolve them over at IntelliGel. What's in the box? Yeah. So, I mean, unboxing is silly. Oh, yeah, the Disting NT. It wasn't a Disting NT. No. I don't have any Distings anymore. I had one in January, sold it. The glass window popped out of it. So, weird. Let's see. What's my opinion of the 4MS meta module? Couch with Noise asks. I don't know what that is. Sorry. Andy loves his. There you go. Jeff says Andy loves his, I think. And Andy says he does. I don't know anything about the meta module. I'm really boring when it comes to modular stuff. All the cool modules that all the cool kids have, I don't have. So it is what it is. Okay, I think that's it. Well, it's 3 o'clock and you all made it this far. I guess that's about it. I usually stream for about an hour. And then, so what's happening this afternoon? It's Sunday. We had house guests for the last 4 days. They're very nice. Hello, Aisha and Devani, who you will never see in this stream because they're not nerds. But they left this morning. So what that means is my wife and I are going to decompress this afternoon. And we're going to watch football and bad reality TV. And I'm going to get on the YouTube on my phone and look at all of your stuff. And that's about it. And tomorrow, my Ableton Move should arrive. And I'm not going to say anything about it or make any videos about it until I have made 32 sets with with all the clip slots full. I'm going to hold off and I'm going to see how quickly can I make things I like on it and force myself to learn it. I've read the manual a couple times now while I was waiting for it to ship. I'm really excited about it. And the internet is full of piss and vinegar around it. Some people are like super happy and some people are like pooping all over it. Whatever. I'm an Ableton guy, right? So I'm predisposed towards liking Ableton stuff. But if you've watched the channel, you know I struggle with couch composing. I have, tried various rigs on the couch for doing composing. And just sitting there with a laptop works, but I like a control surface. So sitting there with a Launchpad Pro and a laptop and balancing it all and cable is annoying. And so I've tried various things, my phone, the circuit format things, a Deluge, right? Synthstream Deluge, a couple of years, 3 years ago, I had one of those. And the Move looks like it might be the right thing, so I'm trying it. So once I get it under my belt and I've exercised it a couple of weeks at least, I'll make a little video, not a stream, but a video. The one thing I'll say about the Move, I think the Move will be, I'm going to be happiest with the Move if I use it by itself and attach it to nothing. I don't want to connect it to anything. So there's a bunch of people like, it doesn't integrate well, or it's limited in how it can integrate with all of this stuff. And it's like, that's not what I wanted for. I'm not going to say that's not what it was designed for. I'm not sure who their target user was. I've seen a couple videos where they said their target user is a person who wants a sketch pad. I want a sketch pad. I don't plan on using it to play live. I don't plan on integrating it into a stream. It's literally a box I'm going to sit on the couch and make ideas with. That's all. That's all I'm going to say about it. It should arrive tomorrow. A couple weeks from now, I'll have a regular Synth Seeker video about whether I think it sucks or not. So that's the state of the world there. Trusto, oh, he's late. Oh, Trusto, you don't have to leave. It's only 3:03, man. You don't have to, because your stream won't start till 3:45, right? It's scheduled for 3, but 3, anyway. I'm giving him some shit. I've been watching his stream. They've streamed every day, right? And when I discovered they were streaming every day, I was like, okay, it's the tail end of this 100-day thing. I'm like, I want to watch the final thing. I want to see them. It's either going to crash and burn or it's going to be awesome, right? Because hitting 100 is pretty cool. And their stream, Symptoms of Reality, go check it out. It's just them jamming and making music in their studio, him and his twin brother and their family. And it feels very much like a podcast. His wife is running the console behind the camera. It's cool. Anyway, check it out. But over the last few days, as we're approaching day 100, it's like this stream schedule started at 3, and it's like 3:15 is when it started, and then it was like 3:20 it started, and yesterday it was like 3:45 is when it started. And I understand they're burning out, but that's an opportunity to tweak him, and I'm totally going to tweak him. So oh, you're waiting for me. Too funny. All right, I will go. I'm going to go watch TV and watch the Symptoms of Reality podcast. So join me there if you want. They're super fun. All right, I'm out. And for Andy, because Andy is sensitive, I'm going to do a fade out. So I'm going to turn the mic down. We're going to go to the ending screen and then fade out the audio. Have fun. I'll see you later. Bye, guys.